Welcome back, everybody, to the Price of Business, where we exist to provide you some great content of what's happening in the business world here in Houston, Texas. Don't forget that we live in a $4 trillion economy here in Houston, so there's plenty to be had out there for those who are willing to be aggressive and put their name out there and get their marketing and selling systems to where it needs to be. And speaking of great businesses, we're always happy to have on our show guests that are making a dent into the Houston economy and doing a great job for their clients. We have Wess McDonald with us today as our guest. Wes, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Charles. It's an honor to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So tell us a little bit about your business.
Well, Charles, Western Data Systems, or WDS, is a geospatial solutions company specializing in surveying, mapping, marine, construction, and field service management technologies that include location and measuring solutions such as GPS, surveying instruments, construction measuring devices, and vehicle tracking devices. A growing part of our segment in our business is our FSM, or Field Service Management Solutions, Charles. And Charles,
so
these are... I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. So if you, I know that several of our guests or several of our listeners use that type of systems and use those type of services. What makes you guys different than all the other ones?
In a word, customer efficiency, Charles. We are able to integrate not only the vehicle tracking and track and trace aspects of the field services management, but also other aspects including invoicing, RFID tagging for equipment so that we can have not only vehicles and trailers but also equipment all tracked and traced in one system, along with invoicing and other capabilities all tied together.
Wow. So you really do provide like an end-to-end solution. You're not just tracking it, you're also doing some of the back office functions as well.
Absolutely.
That's cool. Well, tell us what are some of the challenges that your prospects or customers are facing, and how does your system specifically help address those challenges?
Well, Charles, our customers are just like every other field service company out there that has crews in the field or vehicles or assets deployed from a home office. Our customers face those very same issues, and the main thing that we try to help them realize is how to maximize revenue while minimizing expenses. Whether it be monitoring fuel usage, fleet utilization, driver behavior, or scheduling issues, we have a solution that fits. Along with that, as I mentioned, we also have inventory management solutions such as barcode and RFID tags that we can integrate into those existing systems that customers may already have in place.
Okay. And if you can, before you kind of give us an example of how you've done this in the past, can you kind of walk us through who your ideal customer is? I mean, obviously somebody who has field services, that makes sense, but can you kind of let us know who are the ideal types of customers you like and are effective at working with?
Sure, that could include anybody that has a plumbing company or electricians, an HVAC repair service company, surveyors, engineers, delivery services, gravel, cement companies, construction companies. Charles, really just anyone with one or more vehicles or assets in the field that leave their home office.
Okay, great. Do you mind walking us through an example of how you've come across solving a business challenge from one of your customers and what the payoff was and what benefit they were able to realize as a result of your system?
Yeah, absolutely. Most of our customers have a good grasp already on how they would like their businesses to operate. The value that we add is enabling visibility into the field to allow them to be able to identify areas of improvement and see where their money is going and how their fleet is actually operating. Whether it's identifying employees who may be able to benefit from some additional training or just getting a better understanding of the time it actually takes to complete a job as opposed to just estimating a job. Then back in the office, we add that value of streamlining and integrating these systems together so that they can all communicate with each other and work together. We recently had a business owner, Charles, who came to us with some rather large issues. He asked us to help him resolve these 4 or 5 main issues here. One was his crews kept turning in late invoices or losing the invoices altogether. He had people taking company vehicles to places they weren't supposed to be, and he had expensive tools that were disappearing from the job sites or just being left behind at the job sites. He knew he he knew but couldn't prove that all of this was going on, and that he was being billed for time that the crews were on the job, but they were billing for extra time. They would go home for lunch and stay on the clock, and then bill him for that extra time. But he knew all this, but he just couldn't prove it without just being on the job site every day. And of course, that's impossible for a business owner to be on every job site at every minute. So what we did is we gave him the ability to see into the field crews remotely, based on the GPS that was added to the vehicles, so he knew where the crews were and when they arrived and left the job sites. And then we also gave him the paperless invoicing that allowed him to eliminate lost paperwork, and with the added benefit of billing as soon as the job was completed.
Which probably helped with some cash flow, right?
Yeah, absolutely, because, with being able to bill automatically and then not have to go back and try to bill weeks or months later, if you can find the paperwork, that really helps that cash flow quite a bit, just keeping everything timely, consistent, and accurate.
Well, we've actually had the pleasure of consulting a lot of subcontractors and field services type of businesses, and I've had the pleasure and also the displeasure of seeing what happens when a business owner of one of those type of field services type of companies does not have GPS and a automatic invoicing system in place. Kind of walk us through what happens if somebody doesn't have your system. What kind of wonderful business experiences can they expect at that point?
Everything from the example of this customer who had employees taking their vehicles to places that they shouldn't be. And our vehicles that are out there with our brands on them, that represents our companies. And, we don't want those in, let's say, questionable locations. They need to be on the job sites, or they need to be, in places that our company is going to be well represented. The ability to track the time and locations of vehicles, just being able to know where the nearest vehicle is for maybe an emergency job that comes up that needs to be dispatched. Just being able to identify the quickest response time for a specific vehicle and have that person assigned based on their proximity to the call. Whether it's a plumbing issue or electrical issue or, any of the facets of the jobs that our customers, utilize every day or, that they participate in every day. If we can help get the right equipment, the right truck, the right tools, and the right people in the right place at the right time, that brings value to the customer and to the customer's customers.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Well, we know that our guests do call, that our listeners do call our guests quite a few times, but one of the main things is, as with any relationship, sometimes making that first call is the hardest. If someone were to contact your company, what can they expect? Like, what's the process you go through in determining whether your solution is a good fit for a particular prospect or interested party?
We treat every customer with a unique approach in that we sit down with them and first listen to what their issues and what their problems are. We never try to have a one-size-fits-all solution for our customers because everyone is a little bit different. So there are many common, concerns and issues out there, but everyone has their very specific cases that they want to address. And so we will sit down, visit with our customers, and understand their needs and understand what they need to have accomplished. Then we'll bring all of the technologies and tools that we have into play and build a solution around that customer's needs.
And speaking of which, and we only have about 30 seconds here, but for those who are interested in reaching out to you, Wes, what is the best way for them to contact you? And also, if you wouldn't mind giving us your website as well.
Sure. Charles, we have 6 offices located here in Texas and Oklahoma, serving the entirety of both states. Customers can call us at a toll-free number of 888-700-5211. They can email us at fleetmanagement@wds-us.com. And you can check out our website at solutions.wds-us.com.
Well, thank you so much for being our guest, Wes. Guys, for all of you out there that are running field services, having a system like Wes's is absolutely crucial to growing and expanding your business, because if you don't know where your assets are, and if you don't know how timely they are getting to your customer locations, and if they can't create that invoice in a simple and easy-to-use manner right there where they can pay right then and there, y'all are really missing out. So, Wes, thank you for being our guest today.
Charles, it's been an honor. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Well, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back with our next segment. So stay tuned right here to The Price of Business.